I've been thinking about you. Yeah, I've been missing you. What the hell?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit more of a serious video. I think it's pretty much time for me to talk about this incident that happened to me a long time ago, and I just want to share this video with you guys just to give like awareness and just to be careful, especially if you are a teenager watching this. I think it's super important to just be careful of your surroundings and where you are and the places that you are. Always make sure that you know where you are, because if you don't, things like this can kind of happen to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on into the story of this stuff that has happened, or the thing that happened to me. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it helps you in some kind of way, and it might be a little long, so grab some tea, grab a snack, and let's get started. As I'm filming this video, I'm kind of getting like super nervous because this is something that I haven't really like told much people, but it's not just because like I am just like embarrassed of it, or it's just like something that I don't really want to tell people. It's just I get like scared thinking about it because this is something serious that actually happened to me, and I don't know, it's just a little bit of a touchy subject for me, because like as I'm thinking about it, it's like, I don't know, it feels like so real, like I can relive the whole entire moment all over again. So I would be lying if I'm sitting here telling you guys that I'm not getting nervous filming this video. Some of you might know, if you're watching me through YouTube right now, some of my close friends might know this story about me, but a lot of people actually do not know this story, but mainly because like I haven't really mentioned it, and actually I forgot about it, honestly. Also, another reason why I wanted to kind of talk about this is because my subscribers have been growing so much, and I think that this is something really important that you guys should probably know about me, because you probably are going to be seeing me at events, and this is like the #1 main reason why I never go anywhere by myself. This is why I take my mom to all my events with me. It's just because I have this like fear of being by myself ever since this happened. So yeah, I'm like shaking as I'm talking about this topic, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I don't really know where I want to start with this or where I'm gonna go with this, but hopefully it helps you in some kind of way. Well, basically when I was about in, it's really hard to say because I can't really think of when or how old I was. I just know that I was old enough to know what was happening. So basically I think I was, if I'm not mistaken, I was in either 9th grade or 8th grade. I can't really remember, because I do know at this time I did already start wearing makeup. Like I already was starting to kind of wear makeup, so I did look a little bit older to me, at least like back then. What I do remember about it is that it was Father's Day, and we were out with my family. We were taking my dad out for dinner this night, and we had actually went to a really famous restaurant. You guys probably might know it. It's an Italian restaurant. It's called Carrabba's, and right down the street from it there is a Walmart. So this day we had went to go eat, and it was just a normal casual day, and that day I was wearing something really embarrassing. I don't even know why I was wearing this, but I was wearing this long like skirt, and it was beige. I still remember what I was wearing. I still remember what I looked like. So I was wearing this long beige skirt, and then I was wearing like this button-up brown striped shirt, and then I think I had my hair up in a bun, and I just had a lot of makeup on, because at this time I was kind of starting to experiment with makeup, and I honestly just started loving makeup at that point, but I would wear like so much that I think that it would make me look a little older at the time of me being that kind of age, or eating dinner or whatever. And then after that we had decided that we were gonna go home, but before we went home, usually like this always happens, I feel like I go out to eat with my family and then they need like stuff from the store, so we always go to the store. So this particular time we decided to go to the Walmart that was right down the street. And I just want to say this, that I do live in Texas, and I do live in San Antonio, Texas. I know some of you always ask me like where I live, but I'm just going to throw that out there, that I do live in San Antonio. So if you're familiar, the Carrabba's restaurant on the north side, I don't know exactly the street names or anything like that, but ever since this happened, I kind of like dread going to that Walmart. Like it kind of scares me a little bit. And I still remember this day like it was yesterday. This was around the time that the Cars movie came out. So if you guys remember the Cars movie, you know, Cars, the cartoon movie, my brother was really small, and so we were kind of like shopping around, and I saw this like cute little car shirt, and I wanted to get it for my brother, and my mom was like, okay, we'll just find his shirt or whatever, and then we'll be over here or whatever. So I at the time was kind of like, ever since this like happened to me, I feel like it's changed me a lot, but at that time and moment I kind of was just, I wasn't scared of being alone. And she left me, and so did my dad and my whole family. They went to go look around, and I stayed in the kids section kind of like browsing where the little car shirts were, and they were like in this little, I guess kind of like cubby kind of thing. So I was sitting there, or not sitting there, but bent over, and I was like trying to look for his shirt size, and I think at the corner of my eye I just saw like this guy, and he was wearing a cap, and for some reason I thought it was my dad because my dad wears a lot of caps, so I kind of thought it was him at the time. So I kind of just glanced, and it wasn't him, so I was like, okay, no big deal, it's just, you know, this random guy. I glanced and I looked, and I saw that it wasn't my dad. I kind of just didn't think anything of it. I just continued to look for my brother's shirt size, and I couldn't find it, so I was like kind of getting frustrated. I was like, okay, I couldn't find his size, and then this guy like was like hovering me around, and that's when I started to notice that things got a little weird and a little suspicious. So once I saw him hovering me around, I kind of got a little bit creeped out, but I still didn't really think anything of it because at the time, like I said, I wasn't really like cautious of that kind of stuff. So I got up, and then I was just like, okay, well, I can't find his shirt size. I'm gonna get away from this creep that keeps looking at me. And at the time, like, I thought that he was just looking at me because like I look super older, and I felt like he probably thought that I was like probably in my 20s or something. I wish I had a picture to actually show you guys how I used to look. That way it could make more sense to the story. But I thought he was just looking at me because he thought I was older, and I thought he was like gonna try to ask for my number or something. So I kind of just like got up, and then I went to go look for my parents. And at this time, thankfully, I did have a cell phone. However, it didn't help me in this situation, but thankfully I did have a cell phone. So I was like kind of walking. I walked away from that little area of where the shirts were, and I could not find my mom. And I was like, okay, I don't know where she is, and this guy's kind of like starting to follow me now, so what's gonna happen? So I immediately dialed my mom's number. She didn't answer. I called my dad. He didn't answer. I called my sister. She didn't answer. And then that's when I started to panic a lot, actually. Walking down the aisle, I'm pretending like I'm on the phone, because I feel like when you're pretending like you're on the phone, it kind of helps in the situation that the person that's following you will kind of be like, okay, she's contacting somebody, maybe I shouldn't follow her. So that's basically what I did. I was pretending like I was on the phone. I was like, Mom, where are you? But at the time, like, she didn't answer. Nobody was answering, so I was starting to get freaked out. So I was getting more freaked out because I felt like he was getting a little closer, and like I mentioned, he was wearing a baseball black hat. I still remember what he was wearing. He was wearing some kind of shirt with some kind of lettering, and then he was wearing basketball shorts with high socks and these weird black shoes, and he also had like a CD in his hand, which I thought was really weird. So as he was kind of like following me, he was tapping it on his leg, so I actually didn't have to turn around and see if he was still following me. I could hear it from my ears that he was getting closer and getting closer. At that point, I was like really starting to freak out because I could hear how close the taps were getting from him actually hitting his legs with the CD. So I was like, I don't know if he's really following me or if he's just going in the same direction as me. I was trying my hardest to stay calm because I just didn't want to freak out and make it a bigger incident than it probably already was. So I kind of just like took a turn somewhere to see if he would follow me in that same direction, and sure enough, he did. I took a turn in the girls' clothing section, the little girl, so I like turned, he followed me, I turned again, he followed me, I turned again, he followed me, and at this point I was like, yeah, he's definitely trying to do something. He's definitely trying to either talk to me or try to like do something. And I started to get like really scared, especially at the fact that nobody was answering my phone calls. So then after that, I kind of just like was trying to find my mom still at this point. I think like about 10 minutes or so had went by, and I didn't really know what was going to happen. A million different things were going through my head. I was just like, should I go outside and look for my parents? Should I contact somebody at the front of the store? Contact a member of management? Should I call the cops? Like, I just didn't know what to do because, like I said, I was really young, and I just didn't know what to do at this point. So I continued to like walk and try to find them, and I kept taking turns just to see if he would follow me, and he would. And after that, I was like, you know what, I do not know what to do. The only thing I could think of was to do is go to the front of the store and talk to somebody and let them help me find my parents, because I just didn't want to walk around by myself and then him try to like grab me or something. I was just so scared. Like, I can't even express how scared I was. I kind of just walked to the front of the store, and I still remember this lady. She was so sweet. So I went to her register. She was actually cashing somebody out, and I pretended like I was gonna get something, and then I just told her, like, I'm having an issue. This guy is following me. I don't know where my mom is. I don't know where my parents are. Can you please help me find them, because I'm really scared. I don't know what this guy's capable of. I don't know who he is. I don't even know where this Walmart is. I just know that I'm with my family and I got lost from them, and I really need your help finding my parents. So at that point, I walked with the lady to try to find my parents, and she was like, okay, well, did you try calling them? And I was like, yes, they don't answer. So she just kind of walked around with me, and she was like asking me questions of what happened. So I kind of told her, and then she asked me what did the guy look like, and at the time he was still kind of following me, like he was still hovering around, but I guess he didn't get the idea that I was scared and that I was trying to contact somebody to help me find my parents. He was kind of still walking around, and she's like, okay, just walk with me, you know, walk really close to me, let's find your parents. So my parents were actually, I still remember what aisle they were. They were kind of in the material section. I don't know why they were in there. I had already found my parents at this point with her, and the guy was still kind of hovering around. And as soon as I found my parents were like, okay, what guy is he? And as soon as I pointed, he like vanished. Like, I don't know where he went or what he did, but he just kind of like vanished at this point. And I remember that I went to my mom, and I was already crying. When I went to the lady, I was already crying at this point because I was so scared. I didn't know where my parents were. And so when I walked to my parents, I was like crying. I couldn't even talk. I was just like so scared, and my mom was like, what's wrong, what's wrong? And then the lady had to explain to her what had happened, because I couldn't even talk for myself. I was just crying so much. At the time, it's funny because we kind of talk about this story, and she thought that I had stole something. I told my mom what happened, and my mom was just like freaking out. She was like, where is this guy? I want to find out who he is, what he's doing, and why he was following my daughter. That the lady got on to like the little microphone thing, and she kind of just called, I guess, her management team, and as well as the security guard that goes around the parking lot. He had came inside. They tried looking for the guy. He was nowhere to be found. And after that, like, we were starting to cash out of the stuff that my mom had actually bought, and he was still nowhere to be found. And we looked around the whole entire store, and it was really creepy and weird, because as soon as I found my parents and I had like tried to point where he was, he kind of just like vanished and went nowhere. So still to this day, I think that if I didn't go to the lady in the front and I didn't explain to her what happened, and if I had walked outside, something probably could have seriously happened to me. Just glad that I was smart enough to think in that way, especially being so young. So we had actually left the store, and then after that incident happened, I would constantly think about it, and I would constantly have dreams about him being in my head and him taking me for some reason. I know this sounds really dramatic, but when something like that happens to you, you just get so scared, because you think that in your head, like, if you didn't do certain things at that point, so many different things could have happened to you. This has happened to me. I never want to go anywhere by myself. Like, still to this day, when I'm out with my friends and I'm like, oh, I need to go to the restroom, I make one of them go with me. I do not go by myself. I do not go anywhere by myself. The only place I ever really go by myself is right up the street to the store, and even that still scares me. I'm very cautious about what I do now, especially after this incident happened. I always am looking around my surroundings, and I'm just like, I always keep my phone really, really close to me, because I'm always scared that something's gonna happen, especially after this incident. Because of that, I'm very glad that this kind of happened to me, because I think that if it had never happened to me, I probably wouldn't be as cautious as I am nowadays. And it's just like something really scary to happen to you so young, so I think that it kind of just scares you, and it makes you want to be more cautious. And I encourage any of you that are kind of younger or even older like I am, and you are really independent and you go everywhere by yourself, just to be really cautious about where you are and your surroundings, because anything can happen at any time or place, no matter how old you are, how young you look, how old you look. That is basically the story of how I almost got kidnapped, and yeah, I don't know really what else to say besides definitely just be careful about where you are. If you guys have similar stories to this, definitely I would love to hear them down in the comment section, because I know I'm not the only person that this has ever happened to. I would love to know your stories down in the comment section. I would love to talk to you guys about this kind of topic. Hope this video helped you guys out in some way. If it did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That way I don't get lost in the YouTube world. And I will see you guys in the next video.